I wasn't all completely aware of the variety of facets and recommendations and requirements that faculty have to do. And so I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for research? And one of the really important things I think EIU does is when you become a new faculty here, you get a mentor. And so my mentor was Deb Wolf, and she said, think outside of the box. Maybe you could do it with students. And that was the best piece of advice I got, because I started doing work with my graduate students. And not only was it enjoyable, but they were invigorating. They had really cool ideas. We co-presented, and I thought, this is what it's about. And they taught me so much about the research ideas and projects and how to present, just as I was helping provide information and opportunities for them. And so that's how I initially got started doing research. So I was at a national conference. It was the American School Counseling Association national conference that was held in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And serendipitously, I just sort of chose Sandy Austin's presentation, and her presentation was on the mentoring program that she began in Green Mountain High School, titled Bionic, Believe It or Not, I Really Care. And I remember listening to her intently and thinking, oh my gosh, what would it be like if we did this in Central Illinois and a high school here, and how we could impact young lives. So the following week I got back, and Deanna Piercy, who is a school counselor at Mattoon High School, is an alumni of our program. And I called her up and I said, Dee, are you a sponsor for any program? Would you be interested in sponsoring a program? And I explained what the Bionic was. And so Michelle Sinclair, the building principal, Dee, and I met the following week. And I pitched the idea of the Bionic program, and Michelle Sinclair, without hesitation, said, I've always wanted to do a freshman mentoring program. I'm on board. So through a program analysis, we created 4 different groups of students. And currently, with the Bionic program, there are 4 teams. The first one is freshman mentoring. The second team is the extended absence team. The third team reaches and talks to students who are transferring in. And the 4th team is the grief team. This year we have 90 juniors and seniors who have committed to be the mentors. They attended a 3-day summer leadership institute. And that's really special, because 15, 16, and 17-year-olds to give up 3 days of their summer to spend it with us. It's a 9 to 3 commitment. Just speaks volumes of who they are as individuals. This year, the juniors were the very first freshmen mentored, so it's year 3, and they came out in droves. We actually have 90 juniors to 30 seniors. And that spoke volumes to us to say that, wow, they really want to be part of that. And so we followed up with them to say, how come so many of you came? And we have mixed feedback. Some of them said, we had a great mentor and it made my freshman year wonderful, and I want to give that gift back to the new freshmen. Others said, I didn't have a very good mentor and I could be better than that. And so I'm going to make a difference in the program.
Freshman year, we were like, we have to get into the Bionic program. We have to. I think our sophomore year, the beginning of the first day of sophomore year, we came to the student services and we're like, hey, how do we sign up for Bionic? And they're like, oh, you have to be nominated or chosen. And we're like, okay. So we waited the whole year. And then the day that they placed the card that we were kind of like chosen for the team, we were like texting each other. We're like, oh my God, did you get it? Did you get it? And she's like, yeah, I got it. And we were so happy. Like, that day was like the best day, knowing that we got chosen.
So the students who are on the freshman team, there's actually a freshman icebreaker day at Mattoon High School, and the freshmen are invited to come 1 day earlier than everyone else. The school's open, they obtain their schedules, there are freshman mentors there waiting to meet them. And so during lunch, their first 15 minutes, they're assigned a classroom where they meet with their mentor, and it's about 5 to 6 ratio per mentor. They meet in a classroom, a teacher is in there also to be involved, and there's about 15 minutes of curriculum, building activities. Sometimes it's learning how to check their grades. It might be an introduction to extracurriculars and things they can become involved in at the school. And after those 15 minutes, they then go to the lunchroom. They're assigned a table where they sit with their mentor for another 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a follow-up discussion to what they did. Sometimes it's an open platform where they can just ask questions. They talk about classwork assignments. They talk about teachers. How can I be successful? Certainly when there's a home football game, they'll say, hey, are you guys going? And so then after those 15 minutes, they're free to go to the lunchroom. They can go meet with their friends for the remainder of the lunch period. So the program is set up that they meet with their mentors for the first 2 weeks of school, every day at lunch. We really want that relationship to cultivate, and we know that time is what creates that. After the first 2 weeks, they then just meet on Thursdays with their mentees. The second team is the transfer student team, and this has becoming more and more important as we continue to do some research and understanding the multifacets of transfer students.
They're so vulnerable, I feel like, because they're coming in a situation they've never been in, and I never want anyone to feel left out or excluded, because I remember going through a phase like that in middle school, and so I'm like, that's just a terrible feeling. So, and then I feel like I'm fairly approachable, so I'm like, I think that's definitely the area that I should be in when it comes to helping out within our school.
They showed me where all of my classrooms were, and then they walked me to my classes, picked me up from my classes, and took me to my next classes. And he just talked to me and kept me calm, and it was stressful, but then by the end of the day I was like, this is going to be easy. So
oh, this is just a random upperclassman talking to me. I'm going to show you around. I'm like, it was really nice for them to do that since, like I said, I'm from a smaller school. This school is really big. And I really enjoyed it. And plus, I found out that my mentor, moved. So it sort of made me sad because they would always check up on me, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I don't like watching students and new people walk around by themselves, because I feel bad, because you see a lot of movies with high school students by themselves. So I feel like being a mentor kind of helps them grow as a person, and it helps them get involved in the school and feel like they're welcomed here, kind of.
It made the day easier because, if there's another school and they don't have what they have here, it would be hard just to go in and try to find all new classes and everything.
it's kind of a awesome moment because you're like, I'm gonna walk through the store, I'm gonna help someone and kind of make their day and kind of make their life so much simpler. And knowing that I help someone, that kind of makes my day.
And then once a month we host a transfer luncheon where all of the mentees, whether they transferred in August or December, it doesn't matter what time they came in the school, and the mentors are invited. We have a pizza party, and they get to meet other transfer students and other transfer mentors. So it's a way that we build cohesion, and sort of they get to see like students once a month. And so that's been very successful and effective, just helping cultivate their interest and connection to the school and the culture. So the most challenging group is the extended absence team. That particular team has, if a student misses 3 or more consecutive days, they are called by one of the extended absence mentors, just followed up. And we know that when you call and say, hey, you're not here at school, we care. We noticed that you weren't here. What the students have said is that meant a lot, that someone recognized I wasn't there at school. Yeah, the grief team is probably my greatest learning curve. This was one that Sandy Austin spoke about in her program. And basically what she, the premise of the grief team is to say that if someone in the building has a loss, that this bionic team is going to reach out and say, we know that this is a difficult time and we want you to pay our respects and just let you know that we care. And so how the process works is in the school there are 3 black boxes placed strategically where students have access anytime. And there's a referral card that they simply fill out and say, Mrs. Smith lost her mother. And we'll put on the card, puts it in the box, and one of our mentors picks up the cards twice a week. So we buy frozen apple pies and we have a card and all of us sign it. And twice a month on Mondays this year, we are going out to different individuals' homes. And so on Friday, the mentor and some of the mentees will make phone calls home asking Mrs. Smith, for example, we've heard there was a loss in your family and we wanted your permission to come out to your house. And so after the parent or the staff have given us permission, we then meet on a Monday evening and go out on pie deliveries. I actually bring 4 graduate assistants. They're all school counseling majors, and they come and they each run one of the teams. As a school counselor intern, the goal is to really come into the school, understand how staff, faculty, students standards, grades, extracurricular, how all of that creates an environment and a culture for students to grow and learn. And Bionic has been that opportunity for them to not only meet with the students, they run the meetings, they help with nominations, they pick the team leaders, and they are the backbone to the everyday facets of the program. So we've been looking and watching the data at Mattoon High School, and the only program that is new that has been implemented 3 years ago was the Bionic program. The freshman attendance was the highest it has ever been the very first year Bionic was implemented. This is year 3, and it is following the same trend. The last 2 years, the freshman class was the largest they've had in quite a while, nearing 300, and the number is still holding strong with attendance. And so that's really important for us. And we're sure that it's because they have a junior or senior that's looking out for them, that has befriended them and kind of taken them under their wing. An example, I was at the coffee shop, and there was a group of freshman girls sitting there, and I was grading papers, and in walks 2 or 3 mentors. They stopped at that table and said hi to the girls, asked them what they were doing on their day off, and proceeded to get their coffee, and they left. Overhearing what the freshmen said is, I can't believe they stopped and said hi to us. Isn't that unbelievable? They said they checked in with us and wanted to know what we were doing this weekend. And just from that small exchange, you could recognize how important it is that they have upperclassmen who are taking an interest and an investment in who they are as people. So we've noticed an increase in attendance, a decrease in discipline, and an increase in number of students coming out for extracurriculars. And so to me as a psychologist, that's important because they're connecting to whether it's a sport or a drama club. They want to be part of and have Mattoon High School, they're a part of their identity. As I reflect on the 3 years, I knew it would make a difference in freshmen. I knew that they would be connected and that peer relationship would become pivotal for them. I think my surprise came from the number of adults who were as passionate and believed in the same thing I believed in and were willing to do almost anything to make it successful. Those teachers voluntarily give those 15 minutes in their lunch period to help those students. The other thing that's probably been a hidden blessing and something that's been humbling and inspiring is how selfless teenagers really are. How giving they can be to others, how altruistic, and that when someone is hurting that they're serving, they're quick to be there. Whether it's a text message, an extra lunch. One mentee said, I really wish I had lunch more than one time a week with you. And she said, I'll eat lunch with you on another day if you want. And it was just so humbling to say she would do that just because it meant something to this freshman student. And I walked in the lunchroom and she was eating with her, not on a mentoring day. And so that part has been just humbling but also just inspiring and has helped me want to become a better person, watching them become so great. It's not a huge defining moment that this freshman has or the transfer student has with their mentor. It's each day being treated with kindness. It's each day being heard, by being seen. Those things make a difference. And every student, every staff member, every EIU intern, myself included, each of us have a responsibility of making that difference. And we can, one day, one student at a time.